Hi third graders, today I have a math lesson for you and we are going to be learning all about fractions. So this is page 217 called Fraction, Draw, and Compare. Okay, so go ahead and get that. And our learning target today is I can model and compare fractions. So we are going to be looking at those two things today. So first, let's talk about the definition of a fraction. So a fraction is part of a whole. So here are some examples. So you can see 1/4, 1/3, 1/2. Those are some examples of fractions. And fractions have numerators and denominators. So the denominator is the bottom number and it tells you how many parts the whole is divided into. So on 3/4, it has 4 equal parts that it is divided into. And then the numerator, which is the top number, tells you how many of those equal parts are shaded in. So on 3/4, 3 parts are shaded in of 3/4. Okay, so we are going to model a couple examples using pictures. Okay, so on your page there are 2 examples given, and one is 2/8. So again, looking at the denominator, how many pieces or parts am I going to divide the whole into? And remember, they always have to be equal size parts. So I divided my square into 8 equal parts, and then the numerator tells me how many need to be shaded in. So I shaded in 2. Now let's try it with 2/4. So again, looking at the denominator, it tells me how many equal parts I need to divide this square into. So it's 4. So I'm going to divide this square into 4 equal parts. And then I'm going to look at my numerator to see how many parts are shaded in. And it's 2. So I'm going to go ahead and shade in 2/4. Okay? So this is how we model fractions, and we can draw pictures to help us see which fraction is more than and which fraction is less than, or if they're equal to each other, which we call equivalent fractions. So this jumps right into the next thing we're going to learn, and that is comparing fractions. So now that we know how to model fractions, now we're going to compare fractions. So this first one says 4/8 and 2/8. Okay, so in order to compare these fractions, I'm going to use what I know about fractions to help me. So looking at the denominator, they are both 8s. So they both have the same size pieces, okay? But this one has 4 shaded in, and this one only has 2 shaded in. So if I were to draw my picture of 4/8 and 2/8, looking back up here, 2/8 is less than 4/8, because if I continued and shaded in 4, I would get this whole half of the square shaded in. So 4/8 is greater than 2/8. Okay, so again, I'm using what I know about fractions, the denominator and the numerator, and I can also use my models to help me. Okay, now let's try this one, 2/4 and 2/8. So now the numerator is the same, but the denominator is different. So 4ths and 8ths, so they're divided into different size parts, okay? So remember, when the denominator gets bigger, the fraction pieces get smaller, okay? Because if I'm sharing with 8 people and I divide something amongst 8 people, my piece is gonna be smaller than if I'm only sharing with 4 people, okay? So that's one way to think about it. So 2/4 and 2/8. So they both have the same numerator. So which one is greater than? Is 2/4 greater than 2/8? Or is 2/8 greater than 2/4? So, using what I know, 2/4 is greater than 2/8 because I'm sharing with less people. So 2/4 pieces, look, are bigger than 2/8, okay? So again, use your models to help you and what you know about fractions to compare greater than, less than, or equal to. Alrighty, good luck, third graders.